Imagine walking a tightrope, really high up in the air. And on your left side, there is this giant magnet pulling you toward wild, reckless fun.
Oh, absolutely. And unexpected flashes of just total brilliance.
Right. But then on your right side, there is a heavyweight dragging you down, basically demanding that you become the strictest, most rule-following boss imaginable.
Yeah, it is quite the balancing act.
It really is. Well, welcome to Horoscope TV. If you are listening to this right now, you are a Capricorn, and this is your exact forecast for the week of April 20 to April 26, 2026.
A very big week.
Huge. This specific week brings a massive wave of sudden changes, brilliant new ideas, and some very serious choices about your home and your career.
Honestly, listening to this might just save you a huge headache.
Exactly. We are going to help you navigate all of this so you just do not feel overwhelmed. Because looking at the astro charts for this week, there is this fascinating tug of war going on.
The tension is almost thick enough to cut with a knife.
Oh, yeah. Completely.
The sky is basically demanding two completely opposite things from you right now.
Right.
Analyzing the charts for this week reveals a really beautiful story, but it is a profoundly busy one.
You can say that again.
You are being asked to balance strict rules and careful planning with, wild, unexpected creativity.
Which sounds exhausting, honestly.
It is a lot for one person to handle.
Right.
But for a Capricorn, it also presents a huge opportunity to build something permanent while completely upgrading how you operate in the world.
And that is our mission for today. We are going to walk you step by step through your whole week.
Step by step.
We want you to build true wealth, protect your peace of mind, and maybe, just maybe, find true love.
Ooh, yes.
All without stepping on any of the astrological landmines hidden in the charts.
And there are a few of those.
Yes, there are. Okay, let us unpack this. We cannot just jump into the middle of the week without looking at the massive energy shift happening right on day one.
Right, April 20th.
Exactly. April 20th sets the stage for everything else. I'm looking at the shift of the sun here, and it seems to change the whole vibe instantly.
It really does. The sun moving into the sign of Taurus on April 20th is the anchor for the entire week.
So what does that mean for them?
Well, for you as a Capricorn, this is a very grounding energy. Let us talk about how you normally operate. You are an earth sign, which means you are usually focused on climbing the mountain.
Right. Always looking for the next goal.
Exactly. You have a very ambitious mind. You wake up, look at the peak, and figure out the hardest, most efficient path to the top.
No shortcuts.
None. But when the sun moves into Taurus, which is, another earth sign, but a much softer, comfort-focused one, it takes all that ambition and plants it firmly in the dirt.
Wait, plants it in the dirt?
Yeah, it asks you to stop climbing for a second. It pushes you to focus completely on your personal joy, your romance, and your creative expression.
Oh, wow.
It's basically telling you to actually enjoy the physical world around you instead of just trying to conquer it.
That sounds like a dream. Just, kicking back, smelling the roses, finding some joy.
It is nice.
But then I check the rest of the charts for April 20th, and the mood gets incredibly heavy.
Yeah, the other shoe drops.
We have a meeting of 3 major planets. Mercury, Saturn, and Mars are all piling up together. What does that mean for someone just trying to enjoy their newfound Taurus energy?
Well, the planets forming a conjunction, which simply means they are lined up in the exact same spot in the sky, creates an intense pressure cooker.
A pressure cooker, okay.
Yeah, because Mercury rules how we think and communicate. Saturn, which happens to be your ruling planet, is the ultimate taskmaster.
The strict boss.
The strictest. It rules limits, responsibility, and strict structures. Then you add Mars, the planet of action, drive, and sometimes conflict.
Uh-oh.
When these three smash together on April 20th, the charts force you to think very seriously and act bravely about your home, your family, and your private foundations.
So wait, the playful Taurus energy is happening at the exact same time as this heavy, serious demand.
Yes, exactly. That is the tug of war.
So we are talking about extreme care with rules, specifically where the workplace and the home crossover.
Yes.
Because of this Mercury, Saturn, and Mars meeting, you really must act responsibly with anything involving a home office or a family business.
Absolutely no lazy shortcuts allowed here.
None. If you rent, you need to follow the rules set by your landlord to the letter.
Yep.
If you live with family, you have to follow the rules set by your parents or the head of the house. Why is such a harsh warning about everyday chores and home rules, though?
Because taking the easy way out this week will backfire spectacularly.
Really spectacular.
Oh, yeah. When Saturn and Mars combine, actions have immediate, heavy consequences. Saturn acts like a strict building inspector.
Okay, I am listening.
If you try to cut a corner while fixing a pipe in your home, or if you ignore a clause in your rental agreement, Saturn will make sure that pipe bursts or that landlord finds out.
Oh, wow. That is brutal.
You have to handle all your serious duties with absolute extreme care.
Here is where I am getting a little confused, though. Let us look at the psychology of a Capricorn.
Okay, let us do it.
If Saturn is your ruling planet, doesn't that mean you usually love rules? Like, you're the ones making the spreadsheets and color-coding the family calendar.
That is usually true, yes.
So why is this week's rule following framed as a danger zone that you need to be actively warned about?
The danger comes from the distraction of the sun in Taurus.
Ah, the magnet.
Yes. You are right. Naturally, you respect rules and structure. You like things to be orderly. But the sun just entered a space that is pulling you toward fun, personal joy, and taking it easy.
Right, the kicking back and smelling the roses part.
Exactly. You're going to be very distracted by wanting to just relax and have a good time.
I mean, who wouldn't be?
Right. The fun-loving energy is so strong that you might actually feel tempted, maybe for the first time in months, to skip a chore or ignore a home rule.
You might think, I will just pay that home insurance bill tomorrow. I want to go lay in the sun.
And the charts say, do not do it.
Ah, I see. The temptation to slack off is the real threat here.
Precisely.
It is not that you hate the rules, it is that you finally want a break. But the universe picked the worst possible day for you to take one.
It is awful timing, really.
Okay, so you handle the heavy home stuff on Monday. Moving into the next phase of the week, the feeling shifts from strict rules to a deep need for security.
Yes, on April 21.
Right. On April 21, the moon enters Cancer.
Now, Cancer energy is the opposite of Capricorn energy.
How so?
Well, while you are out in the world building structures, Cancer is at home building a nest.
A nest. Okay, I like that visual.
It is all about feelings, emotional protection, and deep roots. When the moon moves into this space, your emotional focus turns entirely to your close partnerships.
Like marriages or business partners.
Both, actually. The big theme you will feel is a hunger for finding true emotional safety in your marriage or in your business contracts.
I want to dig into that phrase, emotional safety in a business contract.
It is a bit of a weird phrase, I know.
We usually think of emotions in business as oil and water. What does emotional safety in a legal document actually look like in everyday life?
That is a great question. Emotional safety in a business sense means your nervous system is completely calm.
Okay, give me an example.
Think about signing a contract for a new freelance job.
Right.
If the contract is vague about when you get paid, your brain goes into a panic mode.
Oh, completely.
You cannot sleep. You are wondering, will they pay me in a week or in 3 months?
Total stress.
But if that contract spells out exactly what is expected of you, what the deadlines are, and guarantees your payment within 14 days, your shoulders drop.
You relax.
Exactly. There are no scary surprises hidden in the fine print.
That makes total sense. What about for a marriage?
For a marriage or romantic partnership, it means feeling totally secure that your partner have your back. It means you are building a secure foundation, both at home and on paper, so your mind can rest.
That is a great way to put it. You want to sleep well at night knowing the terms and conditions of your life are locked in.
And you really need them to be locked in.
Because getting that home base and those business contracts perfectly secure is crucial. Because as the week rolls on, the astrological charts point a giant, blinding spotlight straight at your wallet.
Oh boy, do they ever.
Let us talk about the money map.
Finances become the central storyline as we hit April 23.
What happens then?
The moon enters Leo. And Leo energy is bold, it loves to shine, it loves attention, and it has a very expensive taste.
Very expensive.
The charts show a huge temptation trap opening up for you.
A trap? Like what kind of trap?
You will feel deeply tempted to buy fancy luxury items or spend a lot of money on expensive, fun hobbies.
Just to make yourself feel good and powerful, right?
Yes, exactly.
But wait, let us analyze the Capricorn mindset again.
Let's do it.
You are generally known for being frugal. You are the sign of the savings account and the practical investment.
True.
Why would a highly practical Capricorn suddenly seek power through blowing money on shiny things?
Because power is the ultimate comfort blanket for a Capricorn.
Wow, okay.
You generally seek that power through achievement, respect, and slow building status. But the moon rules are instant, fleeting emotions.
Right.
When the moon sits in loud, flashy Leo, it targets your feelings. If you have been stressed out by all those heavy family rules and Saturn's demands from earlier in the week, your emotional brain wants a quick fix.
Like retail therapy.
Exactly. Buying something expensive feels like a fast, loud way to say, I am in charge, I am successful, I can do what I want.
It is a rebellion against the strict rules you just had to follow.
Yes, but I have to warn you strongly here.
Yeah.
You absolutely must stick to a strict budget.
So no silly purchases right now.
Zero.
Put down the shiny new watch. Do not buy that crazy expensive pair of designer shoes just to prove you can.
Keep the wallet securely closed.
Because the reason you need to hold on to that cash becomes incredibly obvious very quickly.
Yes, it does. On April 24.
Right. On April 24, we get the big reveal. The first quarter moon hits Leo.
This is a major turning point in the week.
Tell us about the mechanics of a first quarter moon. Why is this a big deal?
Well, in astronomy, a first quarter moon is a half moon. The sun and the moon are forming a 90-degree angle to each other in the sky.
Okay, so they're squaring off?
Yes, and in astrology, that 90-degree angle creates tension. It is a hurdle you have to jump over.
A hurdle, okay.
Because this tension is happening in Leo, the same place where you wanted to spend all that money yesterday. It shines a bright, revealing light on your shared income, your taxes, and your deep debts.
Oh, no. So everything involving money that you share with someone else or owe to an institution is dragged out into the open light.
Exactly.
That sounds like opening your mail and finding a surprise tax bill. It is facing the music.
Facing the music is the perfect way to describe it. But rather than just being scary, it is actually highly motivating.
Really?
Motivating, yes. The astro charts indicate you will feel a huge push to build true, lasting wealth. You are not going to want to just get by paying the minimum balance. You will want ultimate security.
Okay, that sounds more like the Capricorn we know.
Right. And the best way the charts show to achieve that security is by paying off old loans to secure your future family life.
So the money you wanted to spend on a watch on April 23 needs to go toward a student loan or a mortgage principal on April 24.
Exactly that.
That makes total sense. You want to build a fortress, not just wear a shiny crown.
I love that. A fortress.
But here is where it gets really interesting. At the exact same time you were dealing with these debts on April 24, Mercury makes a very helpful connection to Lilith.
Lilith is so interesting.
Now, Lilith is a fascinating concept. What exactly is Lilith, and what does this mean for their bank account?
Well, Lilith is quite unique because it is not a physical planet you can point a telescope at.
Wait, it is not a planet.
No. The moon travels in an oval shape around the Earth, not a perfect circle. Lilith is the mathematical point where the moon is furthest away from the Earth.
Oh, interesting.
It is the deepest, darkest edge of the moon's orbit. Because it is so far out in the dark in astrology, Lilith represents things that are hidden, raw, buried, or unconventional.
Okay, and Mercury.
Mercury, on the other hand, is the planet of bright ideas, thinking, and communication.
So when the planet of bright ideas connects with the dark, hidden point of the moon's orbit, what happens?
You get incredibly clever ideas drawn up from the shadows.
Like what kind of ideas?
Specifically, you will find completely hidden sources of extra income right through your home property.
Wait, hidden money in their house?
Yes, you will look at something you see every single day and suddenly realize it can make you money.
Oh, I am imagining someone staring at their cluttered garage and suddenly thinking, wait, I could clear this out and rent it as a workspace.
Exactly that kind of thing.
Or looking at an empty spare room and realizing they could host travelers.
That is exactly the energy. You can use this powerful connection to grow your bank account steadily over the coming months.
That is brilliant.
It is about seeing a financial opportunity in the very place where you live that nobody else noticed.
Okay, I have to push back here because we are throwing a lot of financial advice at them all at once.
We are.
Let us look at the timeline. You are telling them to pay off old loans, which means giving away their cash.
Right.
But you are also telling them to use their home property to find extra income, which usually means spending money to fix up a room or paint a garage to get it ready to rent out.
Yes, that is true.
How do you balance holding on to your money to pay debt with spending money to make money on your house?
It is tricky.
It feels like walking through a bakery when you are super hungry, smelling all those fresh donuts right before a big, serious meeting with your strict accountant.
The bakery analogy hits the nail on the head. You are walking a very thin tightrope.
Well, how do they do it?
The key to balancing this is understanding the difference between silly spending and strategic spending.
Okay, define silly spending.
Buying the donut at the bakery or the luxury watch we talked about with the Leo moon gives you a quick sugar rush. You feel great for 10 minutes, but later you are just left empty and your accountant is mad at you. That is the silly purchase. But Fixing a leaky pipe so you can safely rent out your basement. Or buying a good desk so you can start a side business from home. That is strategic.
Because it pays you back.
Exactly. You are paying for a solid tool that will generate more money for you later.
Got it.
You balance it by setting a strict rule. Money only leaves your hands this week if it is guaranteed to lower your overall debt or build a lasting system for wealth.
I love that rule. Strategic over silly. If it does not build your fortress, do not buy it.
Period.
Once your finances and your home are set, you are going to need that solid ground to stand on.
You really will.
Because as we look later in the week, your daily work routine is about to experience an absolute earthquake.
Mostly in a good way.
Mostly in a good way. If you can avoid getting pulled into a major fight, let us talk about the workplace revolution.
We need to look very closely at April 25. This is what I would call the primary danger zone for the week when it comes to your career.
Danger zone. Okay. What is happening?
The sun, which is still grounding you in Taurus, makes a hard angle to Pluto. We call this angle a square.
Let us break down the mechanics of a square. Why does a specific angle in the sky cause problems down here on Earth?
Imagine two cars arriving at a four-way intersection at the exact same time. They are at a 90-degree angle to each other.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Neither driver wants to yield. They both think they have the right of way.
Honking their horns.
Exactly. That is a square in astrology. It is an angle of intense friction where two different energies are fighting for dominance.
So what are the two cars in this scenario?
In this case, the sun represents your ego and your creative expression. Pluto is the planet of absolute power, control, and sometimes hidden agendas.
Oh, wow. When I look at how those two planets are positioned in your chart, it strongly warns of a heavy power struggle.
A very heavy one.
It looks like you might clash with a tricky manager or a very important business client. And because the sun is in Taurus, ruling your creativity right now, it looks like the fight will probably be over a creative project or a specific idea you pitched.
The Taurus energy makes you very stubborn, honestly.
Yeah.
You are going to feel deeply attached to your ideas.
You put your heart into it.
Exactly. You will feel like you finally created something beautiful and valuable. When Pluto challenges that in the form of a boss telling you to change your project or a client rejecting your pitch, it feels like someone is trying to crush your creativity.
It feels personal.
Very personal. It feels like they're telling you that your work, and by extension you, are not good enough.
And what is the natural response to that?
The natural response to Pluto's dominance is to fight back for control.
So what is the tactical move here? Should they dig their heels in? Should they march into the tricky manager's office and demand respect?
That is the worst possible move.
Really? Just walk away?
Yes. The most important thing here is to stay perfectly calm. You must completely avoid any unnecessary drama at your workplace.
Even if you are right.
Even if you are 100% right about the project. Getting into a huge shouting match or sending a passive-aggressive email will only damage your good reputation.
Because Pluto takes no prisoners.
None. Pluto loves to destroy things to rebuild them. If you engage in the power struggle, Pluto will burn down your standing in the office.
And for a Capricorn, your professional reputation is your most valuable currency.
Protect it at all costs.
So you have to swallow your pride. Keep cool, nod your head, say, I will take your feedback into consideration, and walk away from the drama. Do not engage.
Exactly. Do not engage.
Because if you can just survive April 25 without blowing up your career, the very next day, on April 26, the energy shifts completely.
It is a totally different vibe.
Uranus enters Gemini directly in your daily work sector.
This is the earthquake you mentioned earlier.
Tell us about Uranus.
Uranus is the planet of sudden, unexpected change, revolution, and lightning-fast innovation.
And Gemini.
Gemini is the sign of the mind, communication, and fast-moving data.
So when you put them together in the work sector.
When Uranus moves into the sector of your chart that rules your daily work routine, you are going to experience a sudden flood of brilliant new ideas.
Wow.
We are talking about flashes of total brilliance that will completely revolutionize how you do your job.
I like to think of your brain like a smartphone.
Oh, that is a good analogy.
Uranus entering Gemini is like your phone downloading a massive, totally new operating system overnight. When you wake up, your processing speed is 10 times faster.
Yes.
You are going to see shortcuts, new methods, and brilliant solutions to problems you have been stuck on for months.
You really will.
It is literally like a lightning bolt hitting your desk. It lights up the dark. It gives you 1,000,000 watts of power.
But you have to be careful.
Right, because, A lightning bolt can also start a massive fire. The charts say you need to plan the next big steps carefully instead of rushing forward blindly.
Absolutely.
But if you get a flash of total brilliance, isn't the natural human reaction to just run with it immediately?
Yes, of course.
So how do you capture that lightning without rushing and burning the place down?
Well, the natural urge is definitely to sprint forward. You will feel a buzzing energy in your chest to change everything all at once.
Right.
But you have to remember your core Capricorn nature. You are a builder, not a gambler.
Okay.
If you run blindly on the excitement of a new idea, you might build a house with no foundation, and the whole project will fall over.
So what is the strategy?
To capture the lightning without starting a fire, you must create a container for it. You write everything down.
Get it out of your head.
Yes. You brainstorm freely on a whiteboard or in a private document.
Yeah.
You let the brilliant ideas flood in, but you make a strict rule for yourself. You do not make any permanent changes to your job or your projects that very same day.
So map it out first.
You map it out first.
So write down the bright ideas, draw the map, but wait a minute before you email the entire company telling them you are changing the workflow.
Yes, wait a minute.
I like that. Create the container first. Now, that same lightning bolt of unexpected energy isn't just hitting your desk at work.
No, it is not.
It is also striking your love life in a really beautiful, surprising way. Let us shift gears and talk about sparks, surprises, and finding the right team.
We have to look back at the early part of the week for a moment. Remember that the sun moved into Taurus on April 20.
Right, the grounding energy.
Taurus happens to rule your sector of true love and romance. So there is already a very warm, joyful, grounded energy glowing in your romantic life from the very beginning of the week.
That sounds lovely.
It is, but the real excitement, the true sparks, happen on April 24.
Right. On April 24, Venus meets Uranus in Taurus. We know Uranus brings sudden change, and Venus is the planet of love, beauty, and attraction.
Correct.
So when they crash into each other, it brings completely unexpected surprises to your heart.
Yeah.
It looks like you were going to want something totally different from your usual creative projects with your partner.
If you are in a long-term relationship, routines can get stale. A Capricorn loves a routine, so you probably have your standard date nights. Maybe you always stay in, order the same takeout, and watch movies.
Every Friday night at 7.
Exactly. But when Venus meets Uranus, you will suddenly find that routine incredibly boring.
Really?
Yes. You will crave something completely fresh. You'll want to go take a pottery class, try a weird new restaurant on the other side of town, or just shake up the dynamic.
And communication takes a very interesting turn later that same day. Venus leaves Taurus and enters Gemini.
Gemini brings a totally different energy.
How so?
Well, Gemini is an air sign. It rules the lungs, the breath, and the voice. It is all about talking, exchanging ideas, and mental stimulation.
So they want to talk more.
Yes, when Venus enters Gemini, your verbal communication with your special someone becomes much more playful. You will want to banter.
Banter is fun.
It is. And interestingly, the charts show this playful communication becomes highly focused on your daily health habits.
Health habits. That is a very specific topic for romance.
You know, it sounds weird.
I'm picturing someone saying, "Hey, honey, let us talk about our vitamin intake by candlelight." It sounds a little funny for a date night.
It sounds highly practical, which is exactly why a Capricorn will find it romantic.
Ah, okay. That makes sense.
For an earth sign, caring about someone's physical well-being is a profound act of love. Discussing health habits with Venus in Gemini is actually a great way to bond.
That is actually really sweet.
You might talk about trying a new workout together, researching a new way of eating, or cooking a healthy meal as a team.
So what should they do?
The astro charts suggest you should definitely plan a fun, short trip, or just have a long, fascinating conversation over coffee to properly enjoy this fresh and airy energy.
And it gets even more magical as the week closes. Look at April 26. Venus connects beautifully with Neptune. Let us explain Neptune.
Neptune is fascinating.
Neptune is the planet of dreams, illusions, spirituality, and the vast ocean of the subconscious mind.
That is a great way to describe it.
When the planet of love connects with the planet of dreams, the charts show this bringing deep spiritual romance and unconditional love directly to your local neighborhood connections.
This is an incredibly special transit. It softens the hard edges of the world.
What if someone is single?
If you are currently single, you really need to pay attention here. The connection between Venus and Neptune creates a very highly magical and deeply transformative time.
Like meeting a soulmate.
You might easily meet someone who feels like a literal dream come true. And because it is hitting your sector of local community, it could be someone right in your own neighborhood
Like at the local coffee shop.
or walking their dog in your local park. Keep your eyes open because the connection will feel almost destined.
Okay, so love is definitely in the air, whether you are shaking up an old relationship or finding a magical new one. But who exactly should you be looking for or leaning on this week?
Matches are important this week.
Let us talk about the best and worst matches. Your absolute best match for this week is Taurus. Why is that specific sign so perfectly aligned with you right now?
It all comes down to reliable earth energies. You are an earth sign, and Taurus is an earth sign.
Birds of a feather.
Exactly. You both speak the exact same underlying language of stability. You work together perfectly to build a beautiful, stable life.
Because the sun is in Taurus.
Yes. When the sun entered Taurus on April 20, it activated a deep, mutual respect between the two of you that nobody else can ever shake or destroy.
Let us talk about how that plays out in real life. You have all this massive professional ambition, and we know you are dealing with power struggles at work this week.
Right, the Pluto situation.
A Taurus totally understands that ambition. They are not going to complain that you work too hard or that you are too focused on your career.
Never.
Instead, they will gladly provide the quiet, warm comfort you desperately need when you return home from a hard, stressful day of fighting with tricky managers.
They are the ultimate safe space.
You can easily discuss your long-term financial plans with them, like paying off those loans we talked about, and they will completely support your goals with highly practical advice.
The joy of a Taurus match this week is found in slow, quiet time together.
Just chilling on the couch.
Just eating good food, sitting in comfortable silence, and knowing you are on the same page. That will make you feel totally secure, highly valued, and deeply peaceful inside your soul.
A Taurus is the perfect safe harbor for your nervous system this week.
Absolutely.
But on the flip side, you have to watch out for Aries. Aries is your absolute worst match for this week. It is a massive warning sign.
It is a total clash of fundamental operating systems.
Why are they so incompatible right now?
Your core pacing and your life strategies do not match at all at this very moment. Let us look back at the start of the week, April 20, when Mercury meets Mars.
Right.
Mars is the ruling planet of Aries. That conjunction brings harsh, angry friction almost immediately in your personal interactions with any Aries in your life.
Let us break down why it clashes so badly. Aries is a fire sign. They want to smash through obstacles with loud aggression, fast action, and immediate results.
They want it done yesterday.
They lead with their head. But you, as a Capricorn, demand slow, careful, and highly strategic planning for every single step. You lead with your structure.
Yes.
When you put these two together, their reckless, impatient behavior is going to intensely trigger your deep need for absolute control and reliable safety.
Trying to manage an Aries or work on a collaborative team with one right now will only cause massive blowouts and deeply frustrating, bitter arguments.
Because they just want to move fast.
They will think you are moving too slow and acting like a roadblock.
Yeah.
You will think they are acting like a reckless child running with scissors.
It is like trying to mix oil and water in a blender. It just makes a huge, messy disaster everywhere, and you spend all your time trying to clean it up.
That is a great visual, a very messy visual.
But I have a tactical question.
Right.
What if you absolutely have to work with an Aries this week?
Concerns you cannot avoid it.
Right. Say that tricky manager we talked about earlier happens to be an Aries, or an important client you cannot ignore is an Aries. You cannot just run away.
No, you cannot.
How do you step completely away and work alone without ruining your reputation?
It requires extreme discipline, but you can do it. The key is strict boundaries and entirely written communication.
Written communication, okay.
If you have to deal with them, keep it strictly professional, completely unemotional, and as brief as humanly possible.
Do not get pulled in.
If they come at you with loud, rushed energy, do not try to match their volume. You simply say, I hear your ideas.
Yeah.
Please put them in an email, let me review them, and I will get back to you by tomorrow morning.
Put it in an email. Brilliant.
Then you physically step away, you go back to your desk, close the door, and concentrate entirely on your own productive work alone. Be the calm, quiet professional.
Let them bounce all their frantic fire energy off your solid stone wall. Give them nothing to burn.
Exactly. Give them nothing.
Okay, that is a great strategy. Now, dealing with Pluto power struggles, Uranus lightning bolts at work, and all this intense romantic energy, it takes a massive toll on the physical body.
The body keeps the score.
The body keeps the score of everything happening in the stars. This is why the charts place a huge focus on health this week. We really need to talk about protecting the physical vessel.
Taking excellent care of your physical body is important right now. The planets are rapidly shifting their intense energy in the sky above you, and your nervous system feels every single vibration of that shift.
So what should they do?
Early in the week, when you are dealing with those heavy family rules and the Saturn pressure, the best advice is to stay home as much as possible and rest your active mind.
Rest and digest. You need to completely avoid feeling burned out from your daily family stress.
Yes.
And the charts specifically mention a sensitive stomach early in the week. Why does astrological stress always seem to hit the stomach?
The gut-brain connection is very real. When you are stressed about boundaries, rules, or power struggles, your body produces cortisol, which directly impacts your digestion.
So you feel it in your gut.
Because of that heavy Saturn energy early on, your stomach is highly sensitive to the anxiety you are carrying. So you need to drink plenty of fresh, clean water and eat healthy, nutritious meals that nourish your stomach properly.
Like what kind of meals?
Nothing too spicy, nothing too heavy or fried. Keep it simple and clean.
But then we hit that massive shift on April 26 again. When Uranus enters Gemini, it does not just revolutionize your desk job. Your daily health routines will also undergo a massive and sudden change for the better.
The lightning bolt hits your physical habits too.
So they should mix things up.
You should use this specific week to start a brand new, unconventional exercise plan or a very healthy nervous system diet.
Let us define that. Unconventional exercise. So do not just go for a regular, boring jog on the treadmill.
Uranus demands novelty. If you do your normal routine, you will feel stagnant. Try a strange dance class you found online, go rock climbing, or start a totally new stretching routine that feels weird at first.
Just shock the system a little bit.
You have to stimulate the body in a new way to match the new energy.
And what about the diet?
And a nervous system diet means focusing entirely on foods that calm your frayed nerves. We are talking about leafy greens, magnesium-rich foods, and cutting way, way back on the caffeine.
Oh, lay off the coffee?
Your brain is already moving fast enough with Uranus in Gemini. You do not need 5 cups of coffee making your hands shake.
Fair point. Also, on April 26, the moon enters Virgo. Let us analyze Virgo energy.
Virgo loves details.
Virgo is the ultimate organizer, the sign of the harvest, sorting the wheat from the chaff. This brings a perfect opportunity to deeply organize your travel plans and clean up your higher educational goals.
Virgo energy wants you to look closely at the fine print of your life. Pay close attention to the small details of your wellness this week.
Like tracking your water intake.
Are you actually drinking enough water or just carrying a water bottle around? Always listen to what your body tells you in the exact moment.
If you are tired, go to sleep.
If your eyes hurt from the screen, look away.
You know, completely overhauling your health routine with a new diet, new exercise, and new organization reminds me of putting a brand new engine into a car that has been running on fumes for weeks.
That is exactly what it is like.
It is going to run so much better eventually. But with so much happening on April 26, you have the work revolution, the spiritual romance peaking, the health routine changes, the detailed travel planning. Isn't there a huge risk of trying to change way too many habits all on one single day?
There is an enormous risk of burnout. The energy of April 26 is going to make you feel like you can conquer the whole world before breakfast.
All right.
You will want to fix your job, find true love, and run a marathon all in 12 hours. But you have to actively ground yourself. This is where you can use your lucky tools for the week.
Tell us about the tools.
The color of the week for you is gray.
Gray, that is fascinating. Usually people want a bright, loud, lucky color, like red or gold. Why gray?
Gray is a very grounding, neutral tool for your nervous system.
How does that work?
It is the color of stone, the color of solid foundations, the color of mountains. It perfectly blends the extremes of black and white into a calm middle ground.
That makes perfect sense.
When everything around you feels chaotic and moving at lightning speed, wearing gray or keeping that color around you in your home office helps you stay perfectly balanced. It absorbs the frantic energy and brings you back down to earth.
That is a brilliant tip. Wear a gray sweater when you have to deal with that tricky Aries manager.
Yes, exactly. Let the gray absorb the fire.
You also have some lucky numbers to look out for this week to help guide your decisions. Those numbers are 10, 15, 23, 30, 36, and 42.
Keep an eye out for those.
Keep an eye out for those popping up in your daily life, maybe on a receipt, an address, or a timestamp, as little signs that you are on the right path.
Little winks from the universe.
Exactly.
If we look back at the massive journey we have discussed, from the home rules to the sudden flashes of genius, want to leave you with a final thought to really mull over this week.
Let us hear it.
The astro charts are asking you to hold two completely different truths at the exact same time. On one hand, you must be the ultimate, strict rule follower at home, bowing to Saturn's heavy demands for responsibility.
The Rock.
But on the other hand, you're being pushed to become an unconventional, fast-moving rebel in your health and your daily work, thanks to Uranus.
The lightning bolt.
So the big question you have to answer for yourself is, how can you be the steady, unmoving rock and the wild lightning bolt at the exact same time?
That is a huge question, the Rock and the lightning bolt. Finding the balance between the two is the key to mastering this week. Thank you all so much for spending your time listening to this forecast on Horoscope TV. If you want to make sure you never miss out on what the stars have planned for you, make sure to subscribe to the show so you can get notified the very moment the next forecast is available. See you next time.